Hi, everybody. Welcome to the BlockTalk podcast. I'm Erica Hall and serve as a communications manager on the internal comms team. You know, Veterans Day is upon us, and for some, it is a time to honor those who have served. But for others who don't have close ties to anyone in the armed forces, it may not hold the same meaning. That's why I'm joined by Court Andrews, a manager in the Global Consumer Tax Division and president of the newly formed Veterans Belonging Group, to share a bit about the meaning of Veterans Day and get some insight into the leadership skills brought to H&R Block by seeking out and hiring these highly qualified individuals. Hey, Court, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Erica. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about veterans and Veterans Belonging Group.
So from my understanding, Court, you served in the Army upon graduating from West Point in '93 until 2013. That's nearly 2 decades. What was your experience like in the armed forces?
I started as a lieutenant in aviation and ended up having the great opportunity to fly Apache helicopters for most of my career.
Wow.
It was very rewarding and challenging, something that I hadn't imagined that I would be doing as an elementary school kid for sure. So I got to do some things that most people dream about and I hadn't even believed were possible.
Oh, it's amazing. Would you say that your experience was similar to what other people experience in the military, like great camaraderie, but also great challenges?
Absolutely. I got a chance to work with some fantastic individuals in some really challenging situations and environments, and I loved every minute of it. It was frustrating at times, always challenging, but the group of people that were around couldn't have been better.
So what is the significance of Veterans Day specifically for people who have served? What does it mean for them?
Initially, Veterans Day was Armistice Day. On the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour, they ceased fire in World War I. That was the initial ending of the Great War. And taking on that tradition, we started Armistice Day to celebrate the conclusion of the Great War. Well, it wasn't until we had a Second World War that obviously showed that the Great War was not the war to end all wars. Well, as we continued in our history, we realized that there were going to be a lot of wars. And so we decided as a country that we were going to celebrate veterans on this day. Veterans Day is a little bit of a happier occasion in the sense that you're trying to remember those that you served with that are still with us. But for some, it can still be challenging. It's still a tough day because they are tied to those that came back as well as those who didn't.
How does being in the armed forces prepare you for leadership roles in civilian life?
Well, one of the first things it teaches you is that you have to be a good follower. One of the other big things that I learned in the military was that leaders grow leaders. So it isn't just one person becoming a leader and then doing it all themselves. Some of the best leaders I ever knew spent a lot of time growing what I call generational leadership. And that's one of the really great benefits of having veterans in your organization is if we are really focused on elevating talent through our culture, then veterans in many cases should be well versed at doing that.
Okay. So, Court, what are the benefits of being involved in the Veterans Belonging Group that you're involved in?
Absolutely. So the Veterans Belonging Group is one of our newer belonging groups. Basically, what we want to do is work with civic organizations, especially those that are tied to veterans issues, to make a difference in our communities. The other thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit is we're working with the talent acquisition group to both recruit veterans and help veterans who are already at Block make an effective transition. So from a recruitment perspective, we know that veterans aren't really good all the time at making sure that their experience in the service translates well on a resume. So we're trying to make sure that the folks in recruiting and talent acquisition are able to better translate some of those things, and we're offering our help to do that.
Well, Court, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. It was very informative, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day.